Let's talk about the biggest developments in college football recruiting from over the weekend. Now, we're going to start with Tennessee moving on from Nico. Yes, the Nico Imaliava era in Knoxville is over. Remember back in 2022? At the time, Nico had signed a blockbuster NIL deal worth more than $2 million per year. Now, that number ended up being the center of contention, and it is what caused this whole thing to go down over the last 4 or 5 days. So, at the time, when Nico signed that deal, he was one of the highest paid, but not in 2025. You see, there are quarterbacks getting paid well over $2 million a year, and I think that's what Nico and his family looked at. Now, we go back to the reporting of this. Pete Nakos of On3 nailed this one on Thursday, that Nico was trying to renegotiate that original deal. The original report received a ton of pushback, but by Saturday morning, Nico was no longer with the program. So how did we get here so quickly? Well, the fact that Nico wanted more money was one of them, but I think it was really the fact that he wasn't worth the money he was asking for. I think that is where, look, Nico was playing lights out and killing it all over the place. I don't think Tennessee would have hesitated. They would have given him more money. But either way, this thing worked out where Josh Heupel made a decision that I think is going to reverberate through college football, at least for the weeks and months to come, maybe years to come. I don't think we've ever seen anything like this. I mean, we saw the Jaden Rashada stuff go down with Florida, but it doesn't really compare to seeing Nico play for 2 years and then leave during spring. And now that the Nico era is over, I think we can all be honest. When I said on a video a couple weeks ago that I did not think that Nico was, at the time, living up to the hype in Knoxville. Now, I said that he had a chance to right the ship, but at the time, and Tennessee fans vigorously disagreed with me, but I thought when you look back at what Nico has done, I don't think you can say that he lived up to the hype. Now, of course, we don't know what he's going to do in year 3, but at least Tennessee can say that they did not get the value from that deal that most expected when it was signed, and I think most Tennessee fans will now agree that Nico never lived up to the hype. All right, let's move on. One more visit to Oregon. Who am I talking about? Number 1 overall recruit, Jackson Cantwell. Kind of a weird deal here. Last week, he came out and said, quote, "I might be closer to the end than I thought. I don't know how an OV would change that, really." Meaning, I know my teams, and I don't think any more visits is going to change the way that I'm thinking here. But 2 days later, he's set to take an official visit to Oregon next week. Now, Pete Nakos came out last week, so did Steve Wiltfong, right on this channel, and said that there's 3 teams out in front for Jackson Cantwell. In no order, it's Georgia, Miami, or Oregon. And this was before the Oregon news. So how do you guys take this? What does this mean? Is this now a slam dunk for Oregon, or does it show that Oregon was probably on the outside looking in of those top 3 teams and needed to get them on campus one more time just to be in this thing? So you guys let me know. What do you think? Is it going to be Georgia? Is it going to be Miami? Or is it going to be Oregon? Because I can't figure this one out. All right. 5 stars at Ohio State. 2 key players on campus. We're talking offensive tackle Felix Ojo out of the state of Texas and Tyler Atkinson from Georgia. Now, Felix Ojo is trending heavily towards Texas, but this was his second visit to Ohio State and not his last. Ojo arrived on Friday. He didn't stick around until Saturday. He went to the Florida Gator spring game, but he's promised to be back at the end of May for an official visit, and I think this is kind of the formula that Ohio State needs. They got him on campus once already. This was his second visit. He'll be on campus for a third at the end of May. We'll see what happens. Now, Tyler Atkinson was also back in Columbus. He is the number 1 ranked linebacker in America, and this time, he brought his family. That's always a good sign. His mom and sister were along with him, and he told Steve Wiltfong after the trip, quote, "I still feel really good about Ohio State." And this weekend isn't about commits for Ohio State because top recruits aren't committing yet. If you're a top recruit, meaning like in the top 50, in the top 100, that 1% of 1%, those names aren't coming off the board. A majority of these guys are going to take their official visits in the summer, and that's why it's setting up to be a big summer for the Buckeyes. I think that this national championship momentum, it's going to pay off. And it's going to pay off when it matters. And that's when commitment season rolls around, right after the official visits go down. All right. The last topic I want to talk about today is a top running back sets a commit date. Running back Javian Osborne, he was on this channel recently, and he told me in the interview, I might be ready to make that decision earlier than I thought. He's going to make that announcement on May 3rd. Of course, we're going to try to get him here on the On3 Recruits channel, but it's going to come down to two teams, Michigan or Notre Dame. And this weekend, he was back at Notre Dame for a second time this spring, and he's currently trending heavily in the Irish direction on the RPM, but next weekend, he'll be at Michigan. And that'll set the table for his May 3rd decision. What do you guys think? I mean, right now, I think it's Notre Dame, but Michigan gets him on campus. It'll likely be his last visit before a decision. So you guys let me know, where is Javian Osborne going to end up? Those are the biggest developments of the weekend. If you guys got more, please let me know what you guys are thinking. It's been a busy weekend.